Yes, people, what's going on? Hope you're good. As you can see from behind me, there's a little bit of a change of scenery in today's video. And in this one, I'm going to be bringing you guys a video from my home trampoline setup. The plan of action is to start off by teaching you guys how to do Macacao, and then from there showing you how you can turn that Macacao into other skills such as a back handspring, a backflip, and a trick in Valdez. Me personally, I think Macacao is a great skill to learn, especially if you're just starting out in flips, as it's going to help to break down that barrier of doing backwards skills such as a backflip and a back handspring. However, it also shares similarities with some other skills such as a trick in Valdez. Before I take you into learning the Macacao and the other backwards skills, I just want to quickly show you around the trampoline setup, and then after that, I'll catch up with you when I'm out and about. So first of all, let's start off by showing you guys the Macacao. For me, there's two variations of Macacao that I like to teach, and the first one is Macacao to finish like a cartwheel, and the second is Macacao to finish like a round off. So what do I mean by that? The Macacao where I finish like a cartwheel will end up going over the top exactly the same, but as I finish, I step out and turn to the side, whereas the Macacao where I'll finish like a round off, as my second hand hits, I'll snap my feet down. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys how to do Macacao to cartwheel. So first of all, get yourselves facing the wall, feet shoulder width apart, with your cartwheel hand behind you and your non-cartwheel hand in front. Now, what I mean by your cartwheel hand is the hand that you put down first when you're doing a cartwheel. So for me, I cartwheel my right leg, therefore I'm putting my right hand down first. So full squat, non-cartwheel hand down on the floor, cartwheel hand out, reaching horizontal. From here, I want you to get used to rocking backwards and forwards, just like so, putting your hand down, just like this. When you're doing this, don't start off by going rock here, rock here, rock here, just moving your upper body, but instead, let yourself shift your body weight all the way over onto your heels and reach your hand outwards about a meter or so behind you. Now you've got that, we just need to add the extension and the arm throw. So you're going to reach out now, looking at that hand so you can see the floor the entire time, but just before your hand hits, you're going to think about lifting this arm all the way up and going up into a bridge shape. The quicker you can extend and land in that full bridge, the better your Macacao will be. Try and avoid doing these ones, where the hand goes down and then you extend. You really want to be working your upper body and your hips together to get the most out of it. So now you've got that, all you need to think about doing is jumping and throwing your second hand or your non-cartwheel hand down to the floor and putting your non-cartwheel leg down first. Rock back, lift up, same thing, throw the hand and step down. The smoother you go into it and the more you commit, the more inverted you will be and the easier it will be to cartwheel out. If you don't quite rock back and extend, you'll probably find that you end up doing this. And it's quite hard for you to then actually do the full skill. So I'll go through that one more time. Down in a squat, non-cartwheel hand in front, cartwheel hand behind, rock back, reaching outwards whilst lifting your upper body and your hips together. And then throw your second hand to the floor and jump your hips over your head. Now, the more confident and better that Macacao is, try and start a little bit higher or add the rock technique to start it off. You're going to squat down, bringing your left hand down and your right arm up at the exact same time. You need to work these together for it to fully work properly. Down to here, halfway, and then you're going to think about falling backwards, throwing that arm down whilst getting this arm over, looking at the floor. And now you've got that down, all you need to do is bring your feet down to the floor and you've learnt both variations of Macacao. If you're struggling to understand how to bring your feet down to the floor, I would advise you just kick to handstand and think about piking down to the floor. Handstand, snap, push away. Now we just apply the same things to the Macacao. Now, if it comes to trying this one and you're feeling a little bit scared and a little bit worried about the first attempts, then just start off by looking at that hand the entire time. If you can look at that hand and see the trampoline bed, there's not really much for you to worry about as you're going to be safe the whole time. So now you guys have learned the Macacao, I want to show you guys how you can transition this into a trick in Valdez and a gymnastics back handspring. So in order for you to get more confidence going backwards and for you to teach yourself how to actually throw your body without having something on the floor first, you're going to start off by doing your Macacao the exact same way, but you're going to think about throwing your arms and jumping off before that first hand has even hit the floor. So we're going to do the same squat technique, but rather than going all the way down and rocking back, we're going to go to a quarter and then we're going to throw. So quarter, lean back, throw. Quarter, lean back, looking at the hand, throw the body, and you're over. So now you can see with that Macacao, it seems to look very similar, but it's just a little bit more powerful, and you can see there's a period of time when my hands aren't on the floor. Now the next stage in trying to turn your Macacao into a back handspring or a trick of Valdez is to start off by taking off with both hands by your sides rather than with one hand behind you. Now this might feel a little bit weird at first, but as long as when you're doing your first attempts you can see the floor the whole time and you're rocking back before you go into it, you should have no problem in learning this skill. Start off, hands are going to go over to our opposite side that we're twisting towards. So for me, I'm going over my right shoulder, therefore my hand's going to be over to my left. I'm going to bend my knee slightly. Look where I'm going to be throwing my hands to before they've even gone there. Lean back and then throw arms and hips together all the way back. Only things that are going to stop you from making it look like that is if when you're starting out, you're turning your body too early all the way and you're ending up like a cartwheel. Or as you're throwing, you're not actually throwing all the way, being as long as you can, but you're cutting it a little bit short. So like that a little bit. Hands over, fall back and reach. And now as you start to get more confident with that cheap flick, all you need to do now is try and start facing forward, throwing your arms all the way back and over, following it with your head straight backwards, rather than throwing over the side and dropping your ear to your shoulder to see the floor. When you first start out, it might be a little bit scary. So if you want to keep looking over the shoulder, you can. I would just recommend that with your arms, you're thinking about keeping them in a straight line going over the top, whilst it's just your eyes that are looking at the floor. Lovely. Now after that, you just got to commit to it now. Start off facing completely straight, hips forward, eyes forward, and as you throw into it, follow your hands, get yourself all the way back. And now you've learned the back handspring. Now to take this back handspring into a trick in Valdez, all you really need to do is to reach back with your strong cartwheel arm rather than bringing both arms up to the top. Now it's quite hard to get this on the axis you need it to be unless you do it from a trick in setup. So if you can, you've got space on your trampoline or your air track or grass, wherever you're doing it, I would recommend you start off with a scoot. So get yourself down like so, do your scoot, and as you feel your second foot land, bring your arms down to the side, throw over your shoulder and do that cheap back handspring to start off with. The key with this one is to make sure you're keeping your head and eyes moving throughout the whole thing to make sure that it goes over nice and smoothly. Scoot, I'm looking at my spot, where is it? Arms over my head, and we're round. And now after that, you just need to learn how to take off, and you got to commit to that one arm. So you're here, scoot coming around to your landing, and then from here, leave that left arm behind you, but then think about lifting that right arm up and following it all the way around to the floor. If you're a little bit worried about sending it straight away, then just practice this version where you start off left hand over, right arm here, throw around the side onto one arm to start off with. Nice and easy. And now just add that to your scoot. And that is how you turn your Macacao into a gymnastics back handspring and a trick in Valdez. That's Macacao to cartwheel, Macacao to round off, trick in Valdez, and back handspring all sorted. Now let's go on to backflip. So in order to turn your Macacao into a backflip, you're going to use a similar method as you did with the back handsprings, whereby we're going to start off by doing a version of a backflip that goes around the side and is off axis, and then we're going to try and correct ourselves and straighten up from there. If I had access to some blocks and some other equipment, there would definitely be some drills that I'd be working towards. However, this is for you guys who've just got access to a trampoline and want some ideas of where you can practice. So when it comes to turning your Macacao into a backflip, we're going to start off by doing a Macacao to finish like a round off. However, rather than piking our feet down, we're going to be thinking about bringing our knees into our chest, bringing our feet down to the floor in a tuck shape. So start off nice and low, just like you did before. One hand back, one hand in front, over, knees down, push, lift your chest up. Now we'll go a little bit higher. And now when you feel like you've got quite a lot of power into it, think about doing the exact same thing. However, think about tucking a little bit earlier, just before your hands hit the floor. Lovely. Now, if you want to practice this from a bounce rather than standing, you can also do that. Just make sure you're jumping with your feet apart, hands here, you're looking back, and as you take off, you really lean and throw into it. 1, 2, 3. Looking at the spot the entire time, not taking your eyes off it. 1, 2, 3. Once you get to this point, you probably are just ready to give that a try without putting your hands down. So go for all the same things, hand back, this one throw. However, as you go at this now, rather than putting them down to the floor, you're going to try and keep them high up, and you're going to bring your knees over and down to the floor. Really use this rock. Hand down and then throw into it. Hand down, throw. Knees come over. 2, 3, and use this backhand as a guide to look at the whole time, so you're feeling a little bit safe. And then as you're jumping, really make sure you're throwing and lifting your other arm up and over your head, driving your chest up, and then bringing your knees and hips over your head. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. And now you've got a cheap backflip going. And now to turn the cheap backflip into more of a straight backflip, rather than having one arm here, you're going to bring both your hands down by your sides or out and back like so, as if you're trying to get your elbows to touch the back. And then as you're jumping into it, you're going to lift them both up into the sky, so you make like a diamond shape with your elbows and arms. And then you're going to tuck your knees over and land on it. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and round. And now once you get to this point, you know near enough all the things you need to do a straight backflip. All you need to do now is give it a try. We're not going hips facing one way, throwing and flipping to finish like a cartwheel now, but instead we're facing dead forward. Arms are behind us, elbows nearly touching. And on our third jump, we're going to swing our arms and hips up and over our head, and then we're going to tuck our knees in, bringing our hips higher than our head up to here, and then we're going to land. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and again. Nice and easy. Arms are coming right back, and we're lifting our arms and hips at the same time, going over, not just stopping here and then grabbing our knees. 1, 2, 3. So I'm sure that bit has probably been a little bit longer than I anticipated it to be, but nevertheless, I hope this helps you guys out. If you do give any of these a try and you manage to learn something new, please do leave a comment down below or send me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you out. All right, so that's the tutorial section of this video done now. Obviously, as you can tell, there is still quite a lot of remnants of a hole and an air raid shelter, believe it or not, surrounding everything. I'm hopefully be getting rid of all this over the next couple of weeks, but it's going to be quite a job, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. Now we're going to go straight into our normal style, showing you guys a few flips on a trampoline. I'm going to have a little session, and after that we're going to go out and about, maybe do a few flips on grass. So this video has definitely become a lot longer than I anticipated it to be, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to show you when I'm out and about. So I'm just going to try and finish on doing B-twist, swing, gainer, heli, and after that, finite. Alright, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and managed to take away a lot from the start. Make sure you work your Macacos, work your flicks, work your tutbacks. Just get on a trampoline, get the reps done, and you'll soon figure it out. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next.